How's it going, everyone? Happy Tuesday. What is happening? There's millions of dollars of ETH. Yes, got to say that correctly. I say millions of ETH. I don't think it's been millions of ETH, but it's been millions of dollars worth of ETH. What if ETH was worth a lot more? Could be even billions of dollars at future value. That's kind of how things work. Sometimes the price is low and sometimes they go high. Certainly have seen that with Hex before. 10,000X, baby. And we want to see it again and again and again and again. That'd be great. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? But today, we got a jam-packed, action-packed show for you. We got Fast Abdoul. He's back. We're going to talk ProveX and the chain they call the Pulse. Get the Pulse on the PulseChain and all kinds of fun stuff. So without further ado, welcome back to the show. In the Library of Congress, got a new job. Fast Abdoul.
Hey, Max. Good to see you, man.
How's it going? Good to see you. Yeah, I don't think you work for the Library of Congress, do you? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that?
I can neither confirm nor deny. This is actually my personal library here, but
Wow.
the truth is I haven't read many books lately. I've been big on the audio tapes, though. Well, I call them audio tapes because I'm old. Audio books. I remember listening to them on tapes, like actual cassettes, but now I listen to them on my iPhone.
I mean, it's whatever medium there is to consume information. I like it. Yeah. I mean, you got glasses, you got a blazer, you got books in the background. You look prestigious and very smart. You could be both.
I could be, or I could be neither.
Well, that's one heck of a I don't know. You've said a lot of smart stuff before, so if you were just pretending to say smart stuff this whole time, one heck of a con. But I think you're good. I think you know what you're going on. Know what's going on every once in a while, man. Yeah, so I'll pull it up on the screen here in a second. There's been several different posts and analysis for what has happened in the last, I want to say 12 to 24 hours. A lot of stuff. Yeah. Just got one 13 minutes ago from CryptoSolve. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Millions of dollars going into ProveX Sacrifice Fast. What do you think?
A lot of million. About 127 million by my count.
It's almost on time too. I was literally thinking like, all right, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? And then this morning woke up, was like, it's happening. Here we go. Let's go.
It is pretty much on a schedule. Like there's dates on the calendar. It corresponds with the dates. So I would say it's it's definitely on time.
Well, explain that for people too, who are kind of like, why was it expected there would be a large ETH sacrifice near the end of the sacrifice time? Like, what is it? Kind of what is the general history? What do we see from Pulse and PulseX sacrifices? How does that line up with this?
When we look historically at like the Pulse and PulseX sacrifices, like the OA came in right near the end and took up a large quantity of points and acquired 90% plus of the supply that way. So it's not surprising that that's happening again. Some people are bearish on that, of course, though I don't see why they would be surprised. But I think it's bullish because the OA tends to not sell its own tokens and tends to buy its own tokens. So I think it owning a large portion of the supply is probably good. It changes the numbers as far as how people look at the market cap and things like that. But I think it's overall bullish and should not be a surprise. And as far as the date goes, the last couple of days of the sacrifice here have no volume bonus, right? So they more or less don't affect the other people who sacrificed as far as their point totals. And that's why the OA set it up like that. I'm pretty sure it intentionally set aside a period of time where sacrifices could be made that would not interfere with the points bonus of other people participating in the same way as if they'd been made earlier in the sacrifice period.
That was confusing to me today too, when I looked at the leaderboard for points and sacrifices and I saw the top one, which I didn't match up with the numbers we've seen came in here. So if anyone out there are looking at it too, that definitely clears it up of like, why are however many million went into it.
You go to the last page, you'll see those sacrifices from today.
Yeah. So this one, it's whatever that I can't for whatever reason the website doesn't want to pull up. I just tried it a second ago, but it's probably working on.
I think I got it.
Yeah, if you got it, feel free to pull it up. But I posted. Did I post earlier? I think. On the screen on the thumbnail too. I did take a screenshot of all the different ETH endpoints that were coming in, but you can see that This one actually says average multiplier 2x. Are these some on the crypto solve thread here? That
It should be like a flat 2x rate.
yeah, so he posted here the 60, in the 6,000th rank, and these I would say these are the ones so around 644,000. That sounds like about
almost certainly, yeah. But from a bunch of different wallets, right? So and they all show up at the bottom of the sacrifice list there, and we can see like that top pool. That's the PH team's pool. Buck and Dylan, they maintain that position. I'm pretty sure Rackham's the one under that, or maybe two under that. And yeah, we don't see any changes on the first page, right? Because they're all on the back page. They just come in for the flat 2x bonus, and of course they're at the worst rate on the sacrifice chart, which is this is a flat sac versus a bonus per point. So yeah, it's $10 per 10,000 points versus it started out at $1 per 10,000 points. So it's unlikely that anybody else made that sacrifice except for the OA.
Gotcha.
Cool. Spreadsheets.
Yeah. We got a spreadsheet from CryptoSolve with the ProveX Sacs from this, and it's like current values. It says current value 300,000. Yeah, that makes sense. So 100 ETH. There's a bunch of different 100 ETH ones. Some of them 200 ETH came in. Got the transactions and stuff here as well. I'll drop the link in the chat and wants to take a look at it. So what is it up to now? Is it up to like 120 million total?
143 million is the total sacrifice number I see, which is about 127 million more than what it was before the OA started participating. Because it was, around that 16 million and change. So roughly 127 million difference. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more come in.
That's right. Yeah, I'm looking at here. Rough value sacked around 126, almost 127 million. So almost 40,000 ETH sacked for it.
Yep.
And what percentage of let's see. I saw one thread about 10%. Are they trying to get 50%? Is it, I guess, what is the play for this? Do they have around 50% of the supply now estimated? Is that what I saw?
I added up the points, but I would think the play, like going off of previous actions with the PulseChain and PulseX sacrifices, it would be to get 80% plus, maybe 90% plus of the total points going to the OA. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this continue for a number of days. We have until the 9th of January during this period where there's no bonus. So I would think that it would probably continue to get up to that 80-90% mark.
It looks currently, just over 50% with the current or around that. So what's another 20 or 30,000 ETH may go into the sack to get up to, just to top the head, just a bunch more ETH may go into it to get up to, you think 80%, 89% of the supply?
I think he's at around 60% of the supply right now. Somebody's telling me. So it's, it would take a bunch to get to 90%. Maybe he doesn't want to do that, but there is a recycling theory that could come into play. If the OA sacrifices to the OA, maybe it doesn't. Maybe he could do it with $1 if he did it enough times in a row with the same dollar. And if you do it in the millions, I think it's possible he could get up to that 90% range.
And why is it good that, what is it for, holders, people sacrificing, we got PulseChain holders, PulseX holders, everyone in the community, but you also have people sacrificing, which probably share the same, are in the same group too, sacrificing for ProveX, a lot of them. Why the OA, whoever's, sacrificing all this ETH to get the supply, why is that considered a good thing, right? What is the bullish case for that?
Well, if we look at the sacrifice and with the assumption, and we shouldn't expect anything because it's a sacrifice, but if those points are going to turn into tokens, and it just went off, the people that sacrificed so far, and it was a large percentage of the tokens, let's say 50% of the tokens went to that sacrifice set, or more, 80%, maybe even 100% of the tokens went to the sacrifice set. then you'd have a huge quantity of tokens in the hands of relatively few people that, a lot of them would be dumping on your heads for years and years and years. And that's not bullish to me, right? So when you reduce that supply, you have the OA controlling more of it, options for liquidity, etc. I think it's a little bit more bullish. And there's also the metric of how it looks like total token count. With them being in the OA, and like as a hexagon, as a PulseChain, you understand like, okay, the OA tends not to ever sell, but from an outside looking in perspective, you don't see that same thing. So you see like this giant wallet that has a lot of the tokens, and you start asking questions. Not everybody agrees with the answers to those questions and whether it's bullish or not. But I think overall it is bullish that the OA has its own tokens and is probably going to keep buying its own tokens. And to me, it's bullish that like the sacrifice set doesn't get 100% of those tokens. I think it would be too much. There would be problems.
So the user, what do you think at the end too, once it takes over, the user supply or user owned supply? I feel like that's the concept we popularized in our community. I don't know if the other communities think about it this way. I mean, I guess there is with their certain, the VC backed ones where you have a certain, they're staked for so long, or they have this or that. I guess there is some similar concepts, but I like to think about all the stats websites. A lot of them have like user owned supply versus like total supply, which is wildly different. For this, it sounds like the user supply is going to be 15 or 20 million, and then the rest of the supply, the total supply, is going to be what, 150, 200 million or so. That's interesting. And I don't know. I feel like you could make a case either way of, oh, that's, for new people coming in and stuff, like, oh, you don't know the real market cap. Like, this is the, and they get people bullish about it being so much lower because, again, if you assume that the total, most of the total 90%, 89% or whatever is never going to move, it's essentially burned, all those labels you can put on it. And then finding that out, is it kind of is it like a thing like, oh, wow, we can get higher on the market cap charts and stuff with ProveX by having a higher market cap? It makes it look more popular, but also once you dig into it, you see that it's only a fraction of it that's probably ever going to circulate. Is that kind of the bullish sentiment?
I think that's the general sentiment. The way to look at it is like, you look at the OA account and you look at everything else, and then you only compare yourself to the everything else, right? So like that total market cap number is probably, good for advertising in some ways. I think that's something that Richard maybe believes. I'm, from an investor standpoint, that I don't think that's necessarily what you look for is like, maybe you're looking for lower market cap, but it certainly draws eyeballs. But from like a personal perspective, you look at, okay, the OA has 90% of the tokens. What percentage of the other 10% do I have, right? And if I had 1% of the other 10%, you effectively have 1% of all the tokens based on past history, right? Not financial advice, but that's definitely how I look at it. If I had 1% of the hex, I'd be pretty happy. 1% of the pulse, 1% of the PulseX, based on what the OA doesn't hold, not the total number, right? So it's it's a metric that we as PulseChain people generally understand, but it's like it does make for some problems with communication sometimes when we start talking to outside people and they're like, what's this giant wallet, right? Like it's one more thing we have to explain.
Well, as they say, green candles solve everything, don't they? It's like, oh,
Sure.
oh.
Yep.
It's like literally the framing could change from, oh, what's this big wallet, to like, oh, wow, looks like someone has a vested interest in the ecosystem. It's like the candle syndrome either way, green candle syndrome, red candle syndrome. We want it to volatility to the upside. Let's go. I came across this thread from you as well. You want to break this down? I think that's pretty interesting to talk about to give people some ideas here.
Let me just pull it up here, refresh my memory. So basically, like I go over some ideas there about how Richard could use ProveX to pump PulseChain. And it's it's some of it's pretty elementary, like the concept of bonded liquidity, right? So if we have ProveX is tied to Pulse, tied to Hex, et cetera, and the price of ProveX pumps, then the price of the other assets pump with it, which is understood by many, right? But I think there's more there as far as the plans for ProveX, or what I think the plans for ProveX are, and how they could pump PulseChain. The first thing that I talk about is how it like triggers cash flow on chain, right? So it's like actually turns turns the concept of bridging to PulseChain into like into financial activity, right, for the chain. There's a built-in buy and burn 2%, which is huge. It's a big number if you think about it. When people use ProveX, 1% on the buy side and 1% on the sell side. So if, let's say, somebody has ETH on PulseChain and they want to sell it to somebody who has ETH on Ethereum, those people are switching sides. There's 2% that goes to buy and burn ProveX, which is probably tied against Pulse, maybe PulseX. And thus the price of like those assets go up by that transaction alone. The big idea I had here that is totally a stretch, that like this is something I made up myself, but I think it totally makes sense. And if Richard's not planning something like this, I think he should incentivize ProveX transactions for the first 90 days or so. And by incentivize, I mean pay people to use it essentially. And that could be in the form of like a kickback, a bonus, whatever. I put in like 1.1% per side. I came up with that number because we know the ProveX charges 1% on either side of the transaction. And then we know that the bridge is, what was the bridge again? 0.3%. So it's just under the bridge ratio when you add everything up, but it's still something that people will essentially use to try to arbitrage or to get some extra value on either side. And it could make for a lot of people using ProveX in a short period of time. And remember that like we're only in a way we're only giving away 0.2% in the scenario that I've drawn up, because 2% goes to the ProveX buy and burn anyway, right? So it stays inside the system. So like, whether people will crawl over broken glass to get 0.2%, I think they will actually when we start talking bigger numbers. But the thing that I'm really interested in is it creating volume, and not just volume in terms of total number of like total dollar figure of transactions, but volume in terms of number of transactions. Like if there were thousands or tens of thousands of transactions going through ProveX in a relatively short period of time, like 2 or 3 months, 90 days, that would create like a smokescreen effect where it would become hard for wallet watchers to watch all these semi-private. Now it's not a mixer. It's not like Tornado Cash, but like to watch all these wallets moving from one private wallet to another private wallet on 2 different chains, like by the thousands, with, ideally millions and millions of dollars coming across the Pulse chain. I could see that being a smokescreen that Richard could use to get in position to pump the chain himself in the future, without the wallet watchers, without the traders front running his every single move, which I really think is one of the big things that's held us back. There's other ways he can do this, but like I feel like maybe this is his plan on how he could do it, is to create that smokescreen and then use that smokescreen to make moves that could be good for the chain without people front running them. And then the last part of like the incentive thing is that you get a whole bunch of people, ideally new people, not just us, using a tool like ProveX. They do it for 3 months because they're making like a couple bucks on the side. After the 3 months is up, if they had a good experience, they're going to keep doing it. Like they will have formed a habit. This is how I bridge from one chain to another chain. I use this ProveX, semi OTC tool, which is cool. And I think that could make for long-term buy and burn, long-term usage, like lots more customers, lots more eyeballs.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I mean, it's kind of hard to find a way that this isn't good for PulseChain. Like what are the criticisms like this takes away from PulseChain? It seems like, to me, I've talked about it before, killer app. It brings new adoption, community, like another low market cap play. It's, all these things. Hopefully the macro events become much better and economically, and everything lines up in 2026. I'm finding it hard to find a reason like why this isn't like a good idea or something that can help PulseChain.
The main objections are usually financial, right? Like people want what they want and they want it now. So like, no, don't launch something else, Richard. Pump my bags of the thing I already have. It's sort of like the general sentiment of most comments that I see. So it's like they're not really useful comments typically. I've yet to see very many that actually articulate a really good reason why ProveX is bad, apart from, no, I just want the money now, like just buy Pulse up to $1 or whatever that person wants Richard to do. But like he's created a tool that he can use to do the thing that you want him to do, which is cool, in a more effective manner than it's currently happening. And he's created a tool that will draw adoption. It will create more like on ramps to PulseChain, more rails on how you can get on and off of PulseChain, and it will almost certainly draw some eyeballs just with the chart itself. Like, we don't know what it's going to do in terms of price performance, but like, we do know it has this 2% buy and burn. We do know that there's $16 million hanging around specifically that came in for this. Like, there's lots of ways that ProveX could look really, really good on a chart that would draw some eyeballs to PulseChain. But I'm more interested in the mechanics of the thing and how it could actually long-term help PulseChain be an economic center as far as like these types of transactions, the connection between Web3 and Web2. It's actually huge. Like, and if you dig into like ProveX, what it could be, like maybe not the minimum viable product that we might get on day one or shortly after it launches, but like over time, it could become something that enables like subscription services with crypto and all kinds of things that could connect the real world to the crypto world. And the obvious things like moving from fiat to crypto and vice versa. But like, it's the extras that actually excite me.
Yeah, and what do you think? So coming up on the 9th, I think that's what is 7, 8, 9, Friday. So Friday, Saturday time frame, Sacrifice is ending. And then we've seen from the ProveX official account, the token, I don't think Richard said this directly, but from the ProveX official account is suggested that a token could launch before the product and relatively quickly.
Yep. And Richard's actually mentioned that himself recently, like in the last couple months, just not directly in connection to ProveX, but he did a post that was like, oh, it's neat that you could launch a token before a product, right? Like, so like he like inspired that, and then the ProveX account that only follows Richard Hart, and I'm pretty sure Richard controls, sort of verified that concept. So in my mind, we could be looking at as early as 2 weeks after the sacrifice period to see a token. The time, like, why I say 2 weeks instead of like 1 day is because it would take some time to tabulate the results if indeed the points end up being tokens. So 2 weeks is, I think, a reasonable time frame, given the relatively small size of the sacrifice compared to the other ones. Like the Pulse or PulseX sacrifice would have been terrible, but not like, there's all kinds of AI now and stuff like that would make this much easier. But even doing it like semi-manually, like I could probably do it myself with an Excel spreadsheet in 48 to 72 hours, right? Like, it'd be terrible, but I could probably do it. Don't ask me.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be not signing up for that one, yeah.
No.
But that sounds. I mean, it does sound like a job for AI and all that stuff too. But I was thinking it'd be funny if it would be somewhat poetic if it literally launched 2 weeks exactly after Sacrifice.
2 more weeks. That
The
would be great.
whole meme is like 2 more weeks always means like longer, but he actually would launch 2 more weeks. That would be something.
Yeah, that would be fantastic, actually. And I think that's 100% feasible. And whether we have, like, someone has, sort of said that like, oh, the token could launch first, but like, as far as I know, the actual protocol is ready. Like, I've seen things that sort of indicate to me that he's been thinking about this or working on this for possibly years. So like, yeah, maybe the protocol is ready to launch now. I don't know. Maybe the protocol will launch first and the token later. I don't know. But I think the most likely thing, based on what we've seen, is that we would see a token launch first, which would allow for price action based on speculation alone, without people, throwing their 2 cents in about how much they like a protocol they may or may not understand. And I think that's probably going to be a good thing. The price action could be even higher because it's just speculation. And then it would, of course, have a second pump when the protocol launched, let's say 2 or 3 months later, which would be a reasonable time frame.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, for people trying to figure out, I always see questions too about, do we even know what it's going to be like? And I don't know how many, I've came across so many technical threads. I've written some. I've worked with AI too to come up with mock-ups and all these things. I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of like how the protocol, the pieces, the ecosystem, it's, fork of ZK P2P with a browser extension, right?
Yep.
So if anyone wants to deep dive into ZK P2P, you type that in, you can go deep dive. You can, fast, I'm sure you have threads and all this stuff too, but it doesn't, there's technical part of how it's going to work in the ecosystem. there's a tokenomics part. Again, the token itself could launch. I mean, so, and correct me if I'm wrong, for what we understand, it's just the ERC20. There's nothing special about the token, right?
Yeah, no, I think the token quite likely, yeah, will have 0 functions and like just be an ERC20, and then all the functions, all the buy and burn, which is the only thing that, to my knowledge, from the information I have, has anything to do with the token. That will all be via the protocol when the protocol launches.
Yeah. So there you go. It's like, I mean, we have plenty of technical speculation that are probably pretty close or in the right direction. We have the token that could be launched pretty soon. Where is a place you think you could find out more information about such a protocol, and specifically ProveX coming up?
We got a couple websites. So of course we have the provex.info website, and then I believe it's the provex.com website. I'm going to verify that.
Is there any specific events that are focused exclusively or most exclusively on ProveX coming up that you can think of?
I've heard that there's going to be a ProveX conference of sorts that I can't remember who it was, but somebody was hosting that
Bingo.
on YouTube, I believe.
There's a YouTube conference coming up.
There we go.
There's even speaker submissions open. Boom, you click that link. It will take you to a place that if you want to talk and you got smart stuff to say, please feel free to submit at the ProveX conference. That will hopefully load here in a minute here. Yeah, there we go. Just let me hit this real quick. Join us to deep dive into the ProveX tokenomics product marketing. What can be built on top of it? February 6th. That is Friday, 12 to 8 p.m. EST. One-day conference. I did 2-day conferences. I did week-long events, but boy, I'm doing 1 day on this one, and we're going to max it out. Hopefully, have about 20 sessions or so. And it's
how many hours? 8 hours.
8 hours. Yeah, 8 hours. Chock full of ProveX. Right.
That's a substantial day.
Let's go. And also, so if you do want to talk about something other than ProveX, like again, preferably ProveX, but I think if we have some good talks submitted on PulseChain, Hex, some of the core stuff, RH, maybe a macro, that'd be cool if we had a macro talk or something too. That's okay too. Again,
we could talk about how ProveX will interact with these other things, right? Because I think there's going to be there's going to be, especially if we have the tech by then, but even if we don't, there'll be great speculation on what you could do with ProveX and Hex and so on and so forth.
If we have the tech, that'd be fantastic. If we have the token, that would be fantastic. If we have none of that, it's still going to be a fantastic, because we're going to talk about what we think it may be. Yes, let's do it.
We can have even more speculation. Yeah.
There. I mean, it's going to be a chock full fun day, I think. If you're interested in submitting a talk, by the way, you don't have to come up with a talk on your own. You can. There's another button for that, but here's a few proposed suggested ones that if you click the little button here, boom, 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 click which ones you're interested in doing, you may be chosen to do that. So a lot of cool stuff here. We talk tokenomics, sacrifice, moon math, building on it, marketing, how it, if you want to do a technical talk on ZK-P2P, who knows, I might do that or someone else as well. And then we got a few both only ones for that. If you'll talk about RH, cool stuff too. 15 or 30 minutes, and just fill out the thing. And if you want to propose a debate topic, because debate's always the fun, you can do that as well.
Where can people find the link to sign up?
Link is in the chat, and it's also in the link I posted. That is the X post that is now in the chat again. There you go.
Oh, so if they scroll down your X profile, they'll find it probably. Eh?
Yeah. It's been pinned. So if you go to my, let me get back to if you go to at RHMax on X, the first one is the conference. And if you scroll down, you can see I've attached the link to this one. I'm actually pinned that one as well. So pretty fun stuff. I'm excited for it. I think
I'll probably join you if you'll have me.
I mean, I think you have hit every other event multiple times, as far as I understand. So you are welcome to submit. No expectations, but boy, I think you probably say some good stuff there. I mentioned.
Probably have some ideas.
Yeah, excited. So I haven't checked submissions for a day or two, but I think I've already got a couple or more so far. But if you haven't submitted, please submit so I can because I'm gonna start working on the schedule, get everything ready, check with the people who donated some media last time, or the ones that specifically the one that if anyone's watching this listening and you want to donate stuff, just you can email me, and if we talk before and stuff, you can remind me and
When
stuff
you
like
say
that.
donate stuff, could you clarify what you mean by that?
Yeah, so donate, so not tokens or anything like, but for this one, just if you want to donate like thumbnails, again, no, if you donate, like no expectation they're going to be used or anything, but if you want to donate like music, videos, anything that could be played during the conference that are, that's ProveX related, all that. Got a guy who's been doing a lot of the last few conferences and events and stuff. He's been like coming up with like the thumbnails and stuff that he came up with is some of the ones I end up going with for the last conferences and events. And the intro, the outro, super good as well. So I've reached out to him and said, hey, I'm doing the ProveX conference. And if you want to donate something, feel free. So hopefully he gets back to you. But yeah, if anyone else wants to submit or just reach out and say, hey, I got a song, or I've got a video, or I've got something that's like, again, core coins, ProveX related, all that. I've got some art, whatever. No expectations, but it may be considered to be included in the event. And yeah, if so, then you can make a contribution there. Should be fun. Boom. Limited edition t-shirts. Look at that. 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 I keep saying I'm not making more t-shirts fast. I keep making more t-shirts.
Oh, you're making t-shirts yourself? Nice.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. I'd probably save some money if I had a t-shirt press, couldn't I?
Only if you're doing volume.
That's true. That's true. So anyways, that should be a great event. Hopefully that'll help people understand more about the protocol or what we speculate on it. If it's not released by then, good. The token, I hope it's released by then, but if not, let's go anyways. And get people excited about things, the bull market doesn't seem to be here. The faces aren't being ripped off yet, but boy, if we get ProveX going and we get some great macro news and you see Richard, tweet some face ripping emoji or some crazy stuff like that. That could be.
You have a spot for Richard at the conference?
I usually don't, because I feel like it's just not gonna happen. But if he were to, if I were to see some signal of him saying I would like to speak at it, then I would probably, what would happen is I'd be like, wait, hold on. Is this his account? Hold on. Wait, let me double check like 4 different things. Okay. And then I would immediately proceed to share probably a StreamYard link or something. Somehow, hopefully there's a medium to share it with. And then if he indeed showed up, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. No expectations.
You could have one of my spots.
1,000% no expectation on that one. Yeah. Yeah, fast. Did you just volunteer to give up one of your slots if Richard comes?
I just signed up for 17 of the items you had on the list, so he can have one of my 17. That would be fine. It's also possible that he could, if he's not prepared for whatever reason to speak live, that he could do a pre-recorded video. That'd be a pretty good reveal, I think, to have a Richard Hart video for the ProveX conference.
If he does indeed drop a video, I would love to play that as well. I will try to fit that into 8 hours, 8 jam-packed hours we got. We should have, hopefully, I've got space. I think, if you do the math, it could be around 20, hopefully around 20 different sessions with different stuff on ProveX and probably a few different core stuff. And hopefully a 12-minute Richard video saying that he's bullish on the ecosystem or something. That would be cool. Who knows? Tam Tam's here. How's it going, Tam Tam? Good to see you.
Tam Tam.
I'll let everyone else chat. I saw SJ as well. And everyone, we're about to wrap up though. Just wanted to say the Hex token. The Hex token, pretty good. I like that. You like the Hex token fast?
I've heard of it. I like that one. I think it has a bright future.
It's pretty good. I like it. I like this post from PulseChainStats.com. Great, building great stuff over there on PulseChainStats.com. Feels like just yesterday, entire space was saying Richard Hart couldn't beat the SEC. He did. Today, they're all saying Hex can't make a comeback. He can't make it have mad gains again. Who thinks 2026 is Hex's year to make a comeback? Let's go. I would love that. That'd be great. Let's go. Would you like another 10,000X for the Hex token fast?
Yeah, I think that'd be fine. I remember Richard fairly recently saying something about he wonders what people will say when it does another 10,000X. I think some people will be happy and some people will be sad because they missed out.
There's a few great quotes. Advice,
but that's what he said.
Quotes. Yeah, I think the one that in the last video I talked about in the last stream was the outrageous wealth. Did you catch that comment? The some people aren't cut out for outrageous wealth or something. I was like, oh, let's go. I like that. Outrageous wealth, good. Outrageous wealth.
I think I could get my mind around it. Like there might be a learning period, but like I probably could, absorb some details, make a couple mistakes, and then be comfortable with outrageous wealth.
I think everyone, there's a learning curve to outrageous wealth. So hopefully everyone, as many people as possible can ride that curve up and to the right with the green
I figure
candles.
it's probably easier when you're 50 than when you're 20. So I like my chances of succeeding with outrageous wealth.
Older the wiser. I think that's a good point. Also, PulseChainStats.com killing it with the bullish post breaking. Grok is bullish on PulseChain. Posted what the future actually might look like. Let's go. Let's go.
I saw that post. I'm not quite sure if we can say that. I think somebody asked Grok make this chart bullish. So I'm not sure if we could say that's Grok's opinion, but it looks bullish. I agree.
Well, if it just dropped a couple of zeros or so, that would be, let's not get out of control with it. But if it dropped a couple of zeros, if Grok's like, PulseChain's going to a penny, I'd be like, let's go. I like that.
If we look at the math right now, like even if you're on PulseChain, and especially if you're still DCAing, which I think is where the real winners will be, like we're at like a 6.5x to sack price, right? So like if it does sack price times 2, just for a starter, that's 13x, right? Like double sack price is a 13x from your current position. So like in my mind, for me, this looks like real opportunity, right? Like I do think we're going to see sack price probably sometime soon. And I do think it's going to go well over sack price. So like, 2x sack price is, 13x, 4x sack price is 26x. And then I guess we got 16x sack price is 100x, which is those are good numbers.
Sack price. What's sack price?
I haven't seen it for a while.
That was a price of a sacrifice. I thought we were just counting from all-time lows.
Well, that's where Richard likes to count from, which is also bullish in my mind because we have made new all-time lows recently for I think all the PulseChain assets. So when he does that chart, the 10,000x brags in the future, he may be pointing at the charts from December or whenever that was. I think it was in December, maybe end of November. So if you're still here and you bought on those days, he might be pointing at your wallet being like, look at that guy who bought Pulse at this price.
You know what, I can't remember a time that Richard's ever mentioned sack price, and it could be strategically, it could be just because he doesn't count that way either, and obviously there's no marketing for it when it's been below that for so long. But I talked about this a while back. I'm like, I literally stopped even considering sack price. I'm like, sacrifice price is not what any new person coming to the ecosystem is. They don't understand the language. They don't know what it is. Yeah, it means something to all of us, right, who've been in the ecosystem for a while and sacrificed. But it's kind of just this. To me, it's too much of a it's too much of an anchor point to be like, oh, I want the thing to go up this much when I think it's much more. I don't know. It's like moving forward, it feels much easier to just be like, no, and now whatever price it is now, I want it to go up 10,000x past that, that type of thing.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, Max. I think, when as community members, we should modify our language and talking about stuff like that to make it better for new people. There's no reason to talk about sack price necessarily, right? Just 10,000x from right now sounds just fine to me.
And it's not, again, everyone who's down from sack price, I get it. We talked about a million times. I get it. I hope I hope in the future, like right now, it's not, I don't talk about sack price very much. I don't think about that when I look at the chart, I don't, however much. In the future, I hope that everyone doesn't think about it because it blew past it so much that it isn't even a measurement anymore. Like, I think that I want that future to, to come to fruition as well. So may you all have outrageous wealth in the future. And Fast Abdoul, where can people find out more about you and your fantastic, perhaps fantastic wealth you're building on the PulseChain, your can't lose attitude?
Well, you can find me on X, as seen on the screen here, at Fast Abdoul. I also have a couple websites. There's 2phux.io, which is a fork of Convex for PulseChain, basically. And my newest project is vault369.com, which is geared up to be a stablecoin that will use ProveX for collateral, as well as other core assets like Pulse and stake Pulse with vPulse and uPulse. So that's at vault369.com. Token is live.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, everyone. That's all we got for you today. Scivive 5555. We are out.
You must be able to see it, Mr. Anderson. You must know it by now. You can't win. It's pointless to keep fighting. Why, Mr. Anderson? Why? Why do you persist?
Because I choose to.
Access dot is complete.
Project not complete.
They're not the same thing. Promise returns and go build something. How much X is Bitcoin up now? 1,000x over a penny. It was designed to replace fiat currency. Back to the 10,000x. Smart fucker I am. Everyone else cries and whines like a little bitch. 1,000x over a penny. It was designed to replace fiat currency. Back to the 10,000x. Smart fucker I am. Well, then it was fucking designed.
10,000x, it's impossible. How can he do that?
Listen, you stupid fucks. Everything else is up higher. Bitcoin did 2 million X. $1,500 fucking dollars.